All right, we have a good one today. Hey, Javier. So recently, the real estate agent I've been talking to sat me down in his office and presented this contract to me. He says that I'm going to owe him a commission when I buy a house. And I was confused because I thought that maybe the seller was going to pay for it. Now, I know that there's a commission rule change or something that happened a few months ago, but I'm not too familiar about what exactly this all means and if I have to pay this person all this money. Is this a scam, a red flag, or should I just find another agent? Can you help me understand what I'm signing? Thanks. Well, I feel like we're entering a new era of real estate, and I'm going to be getting many, probably thousands of emails just like this because starting, I think technically it's August 17th when the rule officially changes with the NAR settlement. But like here in Arizona, August 1st is when our MLS is officially transitioning. So what I'm going to do today is just reiterate everything that we know about the rule change and how that impacts you and how you should anticipate things changing for yourself. For starters, let's just go over what a real estate transaction is, okay? Because I think we need to really assess your knowledge here. So there's three fundamental agreements when it comes to a real estate transaction. There is the agreement that the seller has with their agent. That usually is like here in Arizona, it's called an exclusive right to sell, or there's exclusive agencies. But anyways, it's a document, right? Like it's signed. There is now going to be the buyer and their agent. And before these times, this wasn't always a document. This was just this was formed by agency, either by having a conversation with them or having the buyer agent show you a house. So this was ever on paper, but it was, let's say, word of mouth. This is speaking, right? So, but that was nevertheless an agreement. And then the purchase contract, when you actually buy the house, when you make an offer, etc., that is between the buyer, there's the paper, and the seller. And that's their agreement that they have. And usually behind the buyer, we have their agent. And then behind the seller, we have their agent. And we have like a third party, like a title company or a lawyer, usually like be the intermediary and make sure everything is done right? So we'll put title company right here, okay? So that's essentially how it works. So there's three fundamental agreements here. And what's happening here is when a seller talks with their agent, they agree on compensation. So the seller agrees to pay the agent a certain amount of money. The seller also paid the buyer's agent. Now, how an agent knew what they were getting paid by the seller was on the MLS, there was a specific like little area that said what the compensation was, right? So the MLS gave knowledge to the agent on what the seller was paying for their commission. And there's no standardized commission. That's why I hate these articles that are saying the 6% commission is gone. There was never a 6%. There was no standard commissions. Everything was always negotiable. Well, here is what's fundamentally changing. Okay, just so we understand the basics of what's going on here. The MLS will no longer be able to advertise the compensation to the agent. This doesn't mean the seller can no longer pay the agent for the buyer. It just means that when a buyer and their agent enter an agreement together, there is no guarantee that this agent will get paid unless there is a specific document or paperwork or buyer broker agreement, if you will, that states how much they're getting paid for the helping of the transaction. So let me explain another way of thinking about it. If you ever decide to sell your house, you go meet with several agents and they're going to pitch you what they charge. And there will be agents out there that charge less. There'll be agents there that charge more, but you weigh in the pros and cons and the value that each one gives, and you say, hey, I will hire you. That's why the skill set that an agent who represents mostly sellers is different than a agent that represents buyers, because they have to be more of a salesperson. They have to go into other people's houses, present what they offer value, have this is what I charge and this is why I charge, and have to sell themselves. Buyers agents previously, we just like met you and like you never really talked about what they get paid. They just help you, and then if they end up ever helping you buy a house, and they make a big fat commission check, right? So now what's going to happen in the real estate industry that's going to forever change it is you're going to see buyer's agents have to develop that skill set that listing agents have. So a listing agent will be able to have to be more of a salesperson, sell themselves, say, this is what I charge, this is what I give you in value, and here's my track record to prove it, or in other words, the proof, right? Like why I'm worth what I'm worth and why I can help you. Buyer's agents previously didn't have to worry about any of this, but now are going to be forced to adopt this model. So what that means for you as a first-time home buyer or a home buyer is you're going to have to now interview your agents. You're going to have to find out what they charge, what value they give you, and what proof they have to produce the results that you're looking to get. I said earlier that there's an agreement between the buyer and the buyer's agent. That's no longer just spoken words. Now, this is going to be you. This is going to be your agent, and holding you guys in a binding agreement is going to be the buyer broker, or the BBEA, I think it's called in Arizona. There could be a different word or in your state, but that document is going to go over like a few important things. First thing is how long they're going to represent you for, what they're going to actually charge you for helping you. And at least here in Arizona, what happens if after the contract ends to any potential houses that you showed. So I think it's like an call it after expiration, because that's going to be something pretty important as well. So these three things are going to be all negotiable, and they're going to all be able to be discussed with your buyer. So what this person, like I said, was doing, they're already starting to adopt this, like an early adopter of like, this is how I'm going to charge, this is how it's work. And yes, a lot of agents are going to frame it like, yeah, I'll just get the seller to pay my commission. Don't worry, bro. You're fine. You don't have to ever pay for it. But you're not going to see that on the buyer broker agreement. You're not going to see, hey, the seller gets to pay for it. No, it's going to say that you are responsible for it. So if negotiations happen, and they're all going to happen without you knowing, unfortunately, the buyer's agent is probably going to have to talk to the listing agent and to have that discussion about what are you paying for commission. Okay, is it basically, whatever that is, and they're going to start charging less because obviously it's going to be hidden. So you're going to have that conversation now whenever you go look at a house. It used to be like it used to be fun because whenever you used to go look at a house, you would have to worry about, hey, do I love it? Does it fit my needs for my family? Are they negotiable on the price? But now the fourth question you're going to have to ask is, how much are they paying my agent? And is it going to be enough to cover the agreement that I have in place with him or her? I know this is not funny, but it's just insane that you guys now have to worry about this. So once again, is it going to cover the amount? And if it doesn't cover the amount, then technically you get to pay the difference. So to answer your question, is it a scam? Is it a red flag? I mean, it depends who you ask, right? There's a lot of people out there that believe that the whole idea of paying someone, I mean, I've seen the comments, all they do is open a door. Like, if you fully believe that an agent is only opening a door for you and you don't want to pay them commission, then of course you think it's a red flag. And you would say, I would never pay an agent 10, 15K for opening a door for me. Totally valid. Totally, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. But if you're someone that sees more value in what that agent, and maybe that agent will have to actually pitch and present what their value is, and you believe that value to be true, then yeah, that agreement is going to be, that's what they're going to get paid if you end up finding a house. But ultimately you have the choice. No one's going to force you to write an offer on a house. No one's going to force you to sign on the purchase contract, like, I'm going to buy this house. Like, you have the ability to ask when it's time to make an offer, what is the seller paying in commission? And is it going to be enough to cover your commission? And if it's not enough to cover their commission, you as the buyer are in your full right to say, great, can I have a document from you just saying that you're going to lower your commission to the amount the seller is paying, so that way I don't have to worry about the difference. The agent could totally say, no, I can't. This is my commission. This is what we agreed to. Man, I respect that. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. Or can we go back to the seller and see if they cover it? But unfortunately, it's going to make the situation a lot more difficult for you. But you know who it's easier for? That's right. It's going to be easier for the sellers. They're going to have a sweet time with it, because if their house is for sale for $400,000, and guess how much it's going to be for sale after August 17th? Are they going to magically reduce their price by 1, 2, 3%, whatever they're paying their buyer's agent? No, they're still going to sell it for $400K. Okay. So normally, if it was like the old times on the MLS, there would be a commission of what they were paying. Let's just say 2.5, 3%. You know, there I've seen less, I've seen more, but let's just say, like, give or take that range, right? So on that price was already included this commission. So if they're able to sell to somebody who pay their own agent their own commission, then they basically save that money. So if you're going to pay your agent, you really want to make sure to get a heavy discount, because just the fact that they're saving this money, they don't have to pay a commission. Or if you're going to pay list price, then let's say, okay, we'll pay list price, but I need you to pay this commission for us. Which unfortunately, having that commission is, paying that is going to affect it. Because what if you could have gotten, what if you could have paid your own agent and you could have gotten like a fat discount minus like whatever they were going to pay your agent in concessions, right? So here's what's going to happen. I think what I'm going to coach my buyers to do is to take heavy advantage of the situation. Go aggressive. Like, hey, this is my minimum commission is. This is what I charge. We're going to try to get the seller to cover it. And if they don't cover it, I will let you know. I will give you the ability to not move forward with the house if they don't want to cover it. However, if you're still willing to pay my commission, I'm going to make sure they're going to pay. And I'm going to give them I'm going to go hard on negotiations. Because if they're saving that money, the market has been probably going to be on the market for a long time. They're going to get hit hard. So that's more or less the difference that you have to worry as a buyer. It is some pretty serious changes, but to answer your question again, it's not a red flag. It's not anything serious or a scam. Like I said, unless you have a different perspective, it's just somebody who's an early adopter, but they're literally just a month early. This is going to be the reality that most people will have to deal with. And I anticipate it'll probably make some headway, but with the freaking interest rates dropping because of the presidential election soon, I imagine this is a video that's going to be watched a lot. So if there's any questions or anything funny that pops up, please leave a comment below. We'll try our best to answer it. Also, if you're looking for a home buyer resources, I have a bunch of good ones available on the links in the below. It's just a lot of there's a video that helps you walk through the purchase contract, and it has like a PDF to help you just identify what are the key things to note. There's a bunch of good, digital PDF, a bunch of spreadsheets to help you with your budget and stuff. It's really cool. So go ahead, check it out when you have the time. And if you do download or buy it, can you please leave me a review? Because I just switched over to this platform, so it would help a lot. And of course, if you're looking for a referral as well, homeandmoney.com/Javier is where to go. So appreciate you guys so much. And let's see what August brings for home buyers. It's going to be a fun one. See you guys.